Uhuru Kenyatta has since retired, and he needs to be respected as a retired president. And they also need to let him be, because if you go back into history, we've not seen, Kibaki. We didn't see Kibaki, going after, Moise Jaguar. We didn't see even Uhuru going for Kibaki. I mean, when you take up the country, irrespective of votes and successes of your predecessor, just move on. I mean, just move on with the country. You are the commander in chief. You have the government. You cannot. You came. You came into the office under the promises of doing better than your predecessor. I mean, why don't you just show us what it is that you got? Because the idea of trying to bring Uhuru Kenyatta into this politics, it can be seen. It can be seen. It is actually an assumption. They cannot be able to present an iota of evidence that he is financing anybody. They can't. All they are trying to do is to try and look for, any scapegoat thereof that they can be able to, whoever they can be able to blame, they will continue blaming. So what I say is that I know for sure there was a lot of bad blood between, the Rigathi Gachagua, which I would say, as Junet Mohammed said the other day, was political. I mean, and the good question is, can we trust these politicians, in regards to how quick they change sides and things like that? I mean, the enemies of today are the friends of tomorrow. That is happening in our politics. This is not the first case where somebody has decided not to just leave the retired president be. I mean, why would we want to blow it out of proportion and treat it as a special case other than the formations? We've just had Fred Okano talk about what Raila was in terms of appraising Raila's handshake scenarios. We are looking at that as being a statesman. I mean, being someone who actually made the country proceed from its, political quagmire. Why are we now saying that we need to bash Uhuru? I mean, if Rigathi Gachagua have decided to, to call truce with his brother, I mean, and stop the fighting, that should be encouraged. Why should we want to look at it from just one side of the coin? Through the coin, it has three sides. But I need to say something about, in terms of, I had Manduku, Dr. Manduku, when he was given an opportunity. The first statement he said was, DCP is campaigning on ethnic, mobilization and things like. What does that mean? What does ethnic mobilization means? Right? So when ODM right now, is campaigning and, trying to, bring together its, voting blocks. I mean, what I would call traditional blocks, support basis. Why are we not calling that one ethnic? They are counting as Nyanza as part of it. But when the Rigathi Gachagua touches anything, now it's a problem. I mean, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. We cannot continue, trying to point fingers on how one person is doing their politics and trying to master their support. What else you're doing the same, and you still want us to say that yours is different from this one? It can't. I mean, we cannot. And I think that I would carry that particular statement into the culture of goonism. What we are seeing in the country, we are looking at a scenario where people have been so peaceful that they do not know what it is that, countries without peace looks like. It's like we are missing so much to be a Somali. It's like we have forgotten that we have a Central African Republic that have never seen peace. Kids have been born, they are now adults, they have children, and they don't know what peace looks like. We are becoming too ignorant of the foundation of what makes Kenya a great country. The fact that we have peace and stability within ourselves. We've been home and hosting all our neighbors in the event that they have been having problems. But just because you're losing popularity, just because you feel that you are going to be, to lose an opportunity to continue enjoying power, to continue enjoying the privileges that you have, now you have no problem, throwing that country into dogs. It is unfortunate that we saw or we witnessed what happened in Nakuru. We can start there. I went home with my vehicles without a single windscreen, without a single, driver's windows and all that. I lost, my shield beam, my headlights and everything, because I was in that particular convoy that got attacked. And it is very unfortunate on now what happened in Homa Bay. I think people have been, taking peace for granted. and they need to stop. And I'm happy that there comes a time when everybody in this group agrees it doesn't matter, what part of the divide violence is coming from. You cannot destabilize our country where our children and our women are and make it a goonism country and make it so unbearable and such a not a good environment for us to live in. So we need at one point to stop everything and as a country be able to come together and say enough is enough. We do not want this issue of goonism to continue. But we can't do that without the goodwill of the government because the government has the monopoly of intelligence. They are consumers of intelligence. You cannot say that everything was planned without their knowledge. But if you look at how they've been, they've been trying to expose or they've been trying to, provide, they've been trying to lean on one side and try and see as much as possible, blame the opposition side and assume that, the government side is as white as, as cotton, which is wrong. And we can see through. We can see that the guys who are actually aligning with the government are also misbehaving in these guys that there is nowhere they can be taken. What they were doing in Homa Bay, it is ridiculous because I've been asking them, when you hire people to, fight the others, it's your own people. If you're the governor, if you are the member of parliament, those are the same people who elect you. Yet the side of the divide that they are coming with. So the other day I told our leaders in Central Kenya that if you are going to bring goons into Central Kenya going forward, after what we witnessed in Norkarau, ukipewa watu tunasema ni goons, upewe watu wa kupigwa. You are not going to come to our place and start beating our women and our children and our brothers. We are not going to allow that to continue. And we've told our leaders, by the way, if you are going to continue, behaving this way, we are going to ask you to come with the people you want to be beaten. Now that you want to assume that you cannot survive politically without goods. It is unfortunate, and at some point we need to call it out and say enough. So the violence that we witnessed in Olkarau, the Olkarau style, the Bere style, the Malava style, which has been sponsored clearly by the government friendly and the people, working on the government side. It needs to stop because they need to understand that if we lose this country, they too do not have a country to live in. So it doesn't matter whether you're a king or a queen or whatever you call yourself. But if we are going to lose this country, let me just conclude kindly. If you are going to, continue entertaining this virus to continue, everybody needs to understand that they have no country. On matters, what I've had Fred Okango talk about, the ODM, the UDA, I just needed to respond with one thing, in the broad-based coalition and thereof. Fred Okango, I need to remind you that the people who are fighting in Homa, they are both ODM teams, ODM wing A, ODM wing B. So whatever it is that you are calling broad-based coalition, you should understand that the numbers that you are supposed to take into that coalition have reduced drastically. And without talking much, you are telling us that you want to develop another manifesto. What happened to the manifesto of this Kenya Kwanza government? That beautiful document that have been developed and made people, have interest in erecting this government. It has not been implemented. So why do you want to develop another one? Why don't you just pick that one and give us a scorecard and tell us where you are? And by the way, we have it. So we are talking about a document that we have. So in other words, we need to stop this political conmanship and call a spade a spade. We have a country to make better. And if the government cannot be able to do it, let them go out and some other people are given an opportunity to do it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.